let's start. So as discussed in um, last class, okay, if I open the same slide, so we talk about a lot of security stuff, right? So and where exactly the firewall come into picture, right? If I open this slide, so firewall is here. Yeah, this is the place where the firewall, this piece. So if you see here, where exactly the firewall will be? Firewall will be exactly um, before the internet. It will be there, the location of the firewall. So behind this firewall, you will have your LAN, right? So let's say you have all your access switches here, your core switch, right? And if you have WAN connectivity, like MPLS connectivity, like your branch office is connected here, 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 and so they all consider as a inside for this firewall, inside, and this side, this interface of this firewall, it is called as a outside. So inside and outside. So inside means more security. Outside means there is not secure. So this is how we will the firewall will be. And if you remember this one, so let me just quickly show you where the firewall is. Yeah, there we go. So what is firewall? It does stateful inspection and allow or deny traffic based on the policy. So let me remind you something. Okay. So let me remind you. What is called? Yeah. So if I ask you what is switch, okay. So switch is a layer two. Switch is a L2 device, right? And it maintain CAM table. And in CAM table, what it store? It store what are the MAC addresses connected to him, right? So switch maintain CAM table. Then we have a router. We have seen the router. What is the router? Router is a L3 device, okay, and it maintain a routing table. Routing table. And what does routing table contain? It contains a connected and not directly connected networks, right? L3. This is switch. This is router. Okay. Now in L1, what thing will come in L1? So L1 means your cablings, right? Your copper and fiber cablings will come into L1. So these cables will connect to the devices. Devices will work. So without cables, it don't work. Now you're on this step. Okay, MAC table, router table. Now we are moving towards the firewall. What is firewall? The firewall, it is, see, there are two types of firewall actually. One is L4 firewall, one is a L7 firewall. So right now, and you know the Palo Alto which we are going to learn, that is L7 firewall, layer 7 firewall. Okay, which is a next generation firewall. So before moving to firewall, Palo Alto firewall, there is one more firewall, L4 firewall. So that we are going to see now. So what is the firewall? L4 firewall. Let's not talk about the L7 firewall. Let's just focus on the L4. So L4, what is the firewall? This is the firewall, and it, it does stateful inspection. Stateful inspection. Like switch does store the MACs, router store the routing table. Similarly, firewall have a another memory that is called stateful table. Stateful table. And what is stateful table? So what it maintain? It maintain who went out and who came in. that record will be in the firewall stateful inspection. So, and what it does, firewall, what it does, see, router does routing, switch does switching. What firewall does, it allow or deny traffic based on the policy. Very simple. This is the firewall. Okay. Okay. So let's say this guy want to talk to this guy. If he come here, so firewall will stop him. Wait, wait. Let me check. And the firewall, it is a layer 4, so it has all the capability. It can understand the map, it can understand the routing, and it can also understand the stateful inspection. So it is the fourth layer, so it know about L3 and L2. Okay, so firewall will stop and look at his source. What is your source IP address? Okay, your source IP address is X. Where you want to go? I want to go to Y. Okay, which port? Now this is the place port, so I want to access the port 80. Let's say port 80 means a web browser, so he want to access the port 80. So firewall will see, let me see in my policy table, do I have that policy or not. So he will see the policy. Okay, one second, do I have policy X can go to Y on port 80? If yes, then it will allow him, and when it allow, it maintain, it keep a track of the traffic, so in its stateful inspection. So it will store here. Okay, right now, just now X went to talk with Y on port 80. It will store that. Okay, so the similarly one another guy came, Z. Z, he tried to enter here. Same thing will happen. It will check the policy and it will store that. So if there is no policy for the, and the policies will be 1 2 3 4 5 6, and the last policy will be deny any. So if Z want to talk to Y, so firewall will stop in 1 second. Let me see, do I have policy or not. Okay, it will see, uh, do I have policy? No. So it will drop, no, sorry, you cannot access. So that's how the firewall is. So what is the firewall? It does stateful inspection and allow or deny traffic based on the policy. Okay, maintain a session table. This stateful table also called as a session table. See, mapped cam table, routing table, and stateful table. See, it maintains stateful table to store live connection. What are things going on in my firewall currently? All the live connections. And it also provide edge data center security and VPN services. So firewall has lot many features. We will see that in a few minutes. Okay. So what is firewall? Firewall, it does is stateful inspection and allow or deny traffic based on the policy. Okay. So the firewall which we are talking about, let's Cisco ASA. See, Cisco made a switches. Okay, layer 2, and the multi-layer switches, right? Similarly, Cisco has the router, L3 router. Similarly, Cisco have a firewall, Cisco ASA firewall. ASA stand for Cisco ASA, Adaptive Security Appliance. ASA means Adaptive Security Appliance. Okay, so right now what we are looking, this is a Cisco L4 firewall. Don't get confused. So L4 firewall. So this is also called port based firewall. Okay, what is port based firewall? We'll see that. So now see here. So Cisco has came with multiple things, like for switches we have seen layer 2 switch, then switches also 2950, 2960, 3560, then 45,000 series, then 9,000. So like this, the they different requirement. So different switches are there for the router all the same. Similarly, the firewall ASA, it came with very baby firewall. So this is also called a baby firewall. So the number was 5505. Okay, but this Cisco ASA, it ruled in the market more than a decade. It ruled in the market because there was a time when, if you are a Cisco ASA firewall expert, then you will have a huge demand, huge demand for Cisco ASA firewall. But still there is yeah. So huge demand for the market that time. But now today in 2021, if say you the same course, if you done the Cisco ASA Postgres firewall and you put into the market, so you will have, that will be value. See, let's say for example, in 20, let's say in 2005, 6, 8, that time the your if you do that course, so your market level will be 9 out of 10, because that time. So now in 2021, so the market level will be, I will say, 3.10, because still the ASA is required. Okay, ASA is there in the market. Some okay, so you cannot say that this is wasting of time. No, it was the base. So as per my understanding, if someone directly learning Palo Alto firewall or any layer 7 firewall, checkpoint or FortiGate or Fortinet, so they will not get that knowledge until unless the learning to the AS. Okay, so okay, let's this is 5505, then 5510 and 5520, like this 5585 also. So alhamdulillah, I work on all the modules. Even Cisco has some modules as well. See, if you see here, the Cisco ASA, there was a ASM module. So this module was actually, it is a blade. So this blade used to put into if you see that chassis based switches, so blades will be there. So you need to put here, so and you can run that. So I have worked on all these ASs. So what's the difference here? The throughput is very important. See, Mbps gigabit max throughput, that is important in the firewall when while purchasing the firewall. CPU connection per second, how many connections this firewall can handle. So these two, on these two basis, you need to buy the firewall. Like ASA 55. So 150 Mbps will be the throughput. Throughput means how much traffic it can handle. Let's say you have some database and some storage. So if you are sending the connection database, so the replication will happen there. You're sending some traffic. Meanwhile, if it cross 150 Mbps, then the other connection will be very slow. And if you have 4,000 connections, if you have 4,001, then it cannot handle. So that was the thing. Throughput, actual bandwidth that is available to the network as opposed to theoretical bandwidth. Actual bandwidth, what is the bandwidth? To handle the load, right? Bandwidth, how much information a network can move the period of time. That's called a bandwidth. Let's say 10 Mbps per second. So 10 Mbps per second data you can transfer. So this example. So this is called a bandwidth. So 9K. Can you say no? You have some more connection. You're accepting more connection. Then buy this 9K CPU per 9K connection, 9,000 connection. This firewall will handle, and it will handle double 300 Mbps. No, I have a campus organization. Take this 10 gig, 10 gigabit, and 140K, 140K connection it will handle, right? So like this, these are the series. Whichever you want, you can buy. So that's a Cisco ACE. It starts from the 5505. 5505 now. Okay, so okay, and then what happened is then Cisco came up with the now the next generation Cisco ASA models are this one. So now ASA zero what is called if you see here, so the series will be previously it was 5510, 5520, 5530. Now 5512X, 5515X, 5525X. X, whenever you heard about X is nothing but the next generation firewall. Okay, so let's move on to uh, Cisco slides. Okay, so Cisco security appliance technology and feature. So firewall. What is the firewall? Again, here we'll see uh, in the slides. Okay, a firewall is a system or group of systems that manage access between two or more networks. See, the firewall is placed where inside, outside, and inside, and also there is some team called DMZ, demilitarized zone. So actually, the firewall will have a zones. What is zone? Zone means a boundaries. Okay, zone means a boundaries where like this is the inside zone where your actual land is there. This is inside zone. This is outside zone. Okay, and this is a DMZ zone. So what does it mean? Zone means what? So zone means Cisco ASA. It was first you need to create the zones. So every zone will be attached to the interface. See, this is one of the interface. This is one of the interface. This is one of the interface. So apart from the IP address on that at that interface, you need to say give the name of that zone. Okay, and there is something called security level. Security level. So security level is nothing but 0 to 100. This number. So you know what? The logic is, let's say the security level always the inside is the more secure, right? You want to protect your data. Actually, this the your asset is actually here in the inside zone of the firewall. So we give the security level 100. 100 means what? More secure. Higher the value, more higher secure. Then the outside, obviously, outside is nothing but your internet. So do you want to like provide security there? No, you need to you are declaring that the security level is zero. Zero means what? The lowest least security. We are not bother about what here. So security level zero. And DMZ network. So DMZ demilitarized zone, actually it is your web server will be here. So the people from internet can access to your network, your server. So it will be something, I will say 50. My security level is 50. So now how it works? So the logic of the Cisco ASA is any lower value, any security zone lower to higher, let's say 0 to 100, not allowed. Similarly, 50 to 100, it is a low, it is coming from lower, right? Not allowed. So your network becomes secure. See here, if you have a firewall here, so from outside they are coming from security zone 0, they cannot come to 100. Similarly, DMZ, it is 50, even this 50 cannot come here. But vice versa, the higher security level can go to the lower security level. So these 100 people can go to 50 and 0. But 0 and 50 people, they cannot come to 100. So this is like similarly, like what you want, you want your the people sitting here in the inside zone, they can access the internet. So where is the internet in the zero security level of the Cisco. So ASA will the firewall will not block it, it will allow you. Yeah, fine, go. Why? Because you are my trusted guy. But when someone untrusted, they want to enter into your zero inside zone, firewall will block that. Why? Because sorry, that's what um, I came here. The ASA is there because to deny the traffic, outside traffic. So see, you become secure now. you place the firewall. Okay, you place the firewall. This is outside, this is inside. Okay, and see, this is the default behavior. You have not created any policy, nothing. So what you have done, you have given inside your LAN, you have given this interface 100 value, 0 here. So any 100 can go to 0. They can go to internet. But from internet, no one can go here, come here. So that's what you want. You want, right? You want to secure your organization from unauthorized people. So with the security level, it is getting achieved. Okay, but there is some more thing. We will see that. Okay, so firewall technology. So firewall has so-called like packet filtering, proxy server, and stateful inspection. So three types of firewall. So first, packet filtering means your ACL. ACL, we have seen that ACL. ACL, what we have seen from on the router in ACL can done on any L3 device. So you have seen that. So this machine can we don't want this machine to access this network. So what we have done on the interface level, we created the access and we apply that ACL on that interface, right? Packet filtering. Okay, sorry. So this is also called a firewall ACL. Why? Because it is uh, blocking the traffic, packet filtering. It based on the packet. Then there is something called packet proxy server, and then later the third firewall is stateful packet filtering. That is nothing but the Cisco ASA. So three firewall technology came in the start. Packet filtering. We'll see the packet filtering in the start. Okay, what is packet filtering? Okay. Okay. So what is packet filtering? So packet filtering is something it limit the information that is allowed into network based on the destination and the source. So see here. So you have the policy here. What is the policy? A and B they can talk, yes, but A and C they cannot talk, no. So when the traffic comes, see, this is the host A, this is the host B and host C. So when host A and B, when host A and B, if they are coming, what will happen? So the firewall will see, okay, A, B allowed, yeah, fine, connection is fine. But A and C, like outside to in internet to your inside server, no, I don't have policy. It will block. So this is called a packet filtering. In the packet, the source and destination information with them. This is the data. This is the source information. This is the destination information. So the packet filtering is also the firewall. That firewall take a decision on the packet filtering based on the packet. So each ACL, the ACL is the example of that packet filtering. Then proxy server. So there was another firewall technology, proxy server. So in the proxy, what it does is, so everything on the policies we create on the proxy server. Okay. So what will happen if someone want to access inside zone? So they want to first come the direction. First, it will come to the proxy. Then proxy will have a policies. Then based on that, it will take another connection. Like one connection here, one connection here. One, two, two connections. So it will see what are the policies. You can control your traffic on proxy server. So packet filtering and proxy server. Then third one is the stateful inspection, stateful packet filtering. So what it does is, you can see here you have the same your data, your source and destination. But apart from that, you have a port also. Let's say HTTP means port 80. Okay, port 80. So what currently happen is, see, source A, he is, let's say he is talking to source inside server C. So when the connection happened, right, the first thing, the firewall required a policy to go from this zone to that zone. So if the policy is happen, if the connection is happening, at the same time firewall maintain the state table. So in the state table, what will be the content? Source address. This is the source address, right? Then destination address. Then source port is coming from which port? A random port. But the destination port is important, which port is trying to access. And initial sequence number. And then the flag and some acknowledgement. So what it does is, so firewall keep a track of information. Like who is going where, who is talking to whom, that information. Two things. Firewall have a policies, firewall has a stateful table to see the live traffic, the live connection. And in the policy table, it will be having whom to allow, whom to deny. Very simple. So some more feature of ASA. The firewall is have the proprietary operating system. If you buy a Palo Alto firewall, so Pan OS, Juniper firewall, Juno OS, Junos. Then Checkpoint firewall, Checkpoint operating system will be there. So every firewall have their own operating system. For Cisco, obviously Cisco has iOS, right? And the firewall does stateful inspection, packet inspection. Stateful packet inspection, just now we saw like what traffic is going on, who went or who is talking to whom, that information. User-based authentication. So firewall identify who is that user. Okay, user-based authentication. The protocol and application inspection. So the firewall identify which protocol it is. Is it TCP? Okay, is it a TCP protocol or UDP protocol? Then also it will identify which application it is. It is a web browsing or it is a Skype or this thing. So these are the actually security appliances. We are not talking about the AS. This is the overall things. Then also it has some more thing. Modular policy framework. Modular policy framework means class map, policy map, and these things will be there. Virtual private network. Firewall give a VPN connection. See, as we do, as like right now, people are working from home, right? So my office is here, okay, and I'm sitting here at home. I have my laptop, so I connected to my office. How I connected? So through the internet, I connected because in my machine there is something called VPN client. So by VPN client, I connected to the this one. So who is here? Here is the firewall. So firewall give the VPN connection. You need to configure the VPN there. Okay. So firewall does the VPN. Then security context. So firewall do some virtual context also. Let's say you have what is called multiple customers. So the physical firewall you can make into multiple context firewall, and you can give to this customer A, customer B, customers. So the ASA has that feature also. The firewall. Stateful failover capability. Failover means redundancy. You have, instead of one firewall, you buy two firewalls. Same will be happen here. So there will be HA, high availability will be there. At a time, one guy will be active, one firewall, and one will be passive. So if one guy fail, so this passive firewall will become active. So same like HSRP, we have seen that, right? So that stateful failover. Then transparent firewall. So there is something called transparency. So the firewall will be there, but it will not see that this will be collecting the logs. You will not see. It will not deny things will be there. So just it will be a transparent firewall. So you will have a visibility with that. You can make firewall like that also. And then also web-based management solution. So firewall also have a web-based. See, instead of CLI, you can use ASD, what is called GUI based also. So this all are the ASA features. These all are the ASA features. So actually, why you want to firewall? Why you want to buy the firewall? So firewall has this all capability, which a router don't have. So you may say, no, I have the router, right? So I can use the ACL and I will control my traffic. But ACL cannot have any track of information. ACL won't give you who is talking to whom. ACL don't do the stateful inspection, right? It is just a packet base. Source, destination, allow, deny. But here, many things are there. You cannot create a remote access VPN on the router. You need a firewall there. So there are many things. Virtual appliances, context, and the protocol inspection and all. Those things for router cannot do. You need to buy a firewall, right? So operating system. Cisco has a some operating system CLI. Okay, I'm moving just fast. Nothing important here. Okay, so model based virtual. Okay, virtual private network. So virtual private network. See, this is your office. Okay, your headquarter, and your multiple branches are connected here. So site to site, we'll see in the VPN. Site to site means your office to office connection. See, you need to have another firewall here. So office to office, you can connect site to site. So it will be 24/7 tunnel over the internet. But when you say IPsec VPN tunnel, SSL VPN, so the user is sitting here in the laptop. There will be client is required here. You will connect, and once you shut down the laptop, the connection will goes off. So this is the VPN solution which firewall use. Context. See, for physical firewall, instead of if you have a ISP, if you are having some uh, like service-based organization, then you have every four customer. Instead of four physical server, what you can do, you can take one firewall and you can create virtual firewalls, four firewalls, and give to each customer. So that capability this has. So you need to buy a license for this virtual firewalls. Similarly, failover. See, failover. You have two firewall, right? To have the so it will be and failover also you have see failover term. Remember this. Failover means what? If someone went down, the another will come active. So it is also called HA. HA means high availability. Whenever we talk about the high availability, just a reminder, just remind that two core switch, right? Two firewalls, two internet router. You remember that we have discussed in the so that the connection will it will be for the high availability. So everything is two, but at a time one field will be active. If anything went down, the connection will be like this. So failover. So you can make an active standby or you can make an active. Active standby if one down, another will be take active. So if primary is there active, so the traffic will be go from here. Another will be silent. If this went down, then this guy will be active. But in active both will serve the traffic. Active. So when to use the active, when to use active standby, so it depends on your requirement. Active standby. So this is the firewall. This one. Transparent firewall. See, it will be there into the LAN, but it will not be visible. Has the ability to deploy security appliances, set up bridge mode, provide L2 to L3 security service as a L2 device. So you can put a firewall as a L2 as well. So within your LAN, transparent firewall. So you can see view the logs and all. Web based. Can you see the firewall? Instead of CLI, you can use the web based also. So ASDM. Cisco has a ASDM. So you can instead of CLI, you can put HTTPS your browser, or there is a client. You need to install that, and you will see this. You can manage your firewall here. So all configuration, policies, monitoring, you can see here. ASDM. So that feature also it has. So summary firewall. There are three types of firewall. We have seen the packet filtering. Packet filtering means ACL, then proxy server. The server will be there and it manage all the policies and the stateful inspection. Then Cisco has okay before ASA, the Cisco has another firewall called a fixed firewall. So fixed firewall. Then later on Cisco ASA came. Then after ASA, now ASA X came. ASA X next generation firewall. So remember this one. So I have worked on the PIX also. So there was some problem in the PIX, then they came up with this ASA. Then it ruled in the market. When PIX came, it was ruling in the market. Then there was no, actually not a problem. This firewall they were good that time, but the application and the requirement got increased. So now, as I told yesterday, we discussed right in last lecture. So everything is become application based. So you cannot use the code based firewall. You need something who understand the application. That's why they came with the next generation, right? So eh, that is the thing. So that's it about the firewall. So let me just jump here, show you something. Uh, called, so we will talk some more thing now about this. See, this is a Cisco AC. So where exactly the firewall will come into picture? You okay. So this is your access switches where your all end users are connected. Your printer, your scanner, your machines, your router, all your LAN stuff. On top of this, there will be core switch, right? I'm not giving redundant, just a single top. Then you will have, okay. So here, what will be? Uh, it will be something like your all LAN things are connected here. These guys are connected. Then access switch, they connect to the core switch. You remember that. Switching, everything is. So these are the L2 switches. They provide all the L2 capability or your VLAN, trunk, VTP, STP, everything is working. This is the L3 core switch. Then on top of it is a firewall will come into picture. Okay, and on top of firewall, a router will come here, and then you will have a internet. So your core switch will connect to the firewall, and firewall will connect to the router, and router connect to the internet. Okay, so this is your internet. Okay, so now you know that in routing we have seen the default route give here towards internet. So here the people are here, but this is the firewall actually. And firewall interfaces, they are connected into zones. They called as zones. Zones what? So it is nothing but a boundaries. So one second, guys. Okay. So okay. So default route is, so firewall will have here you need to use firewall two interfaces. One is called, this side is called as inside. Okay, and these are called zones. So this is the inside zone, and this is the outside zone. Okay, and as I told, the security level you need to give. The security level I will say, and this is zone name. And security level I will say security level is 100, and here the security level will be 0. So when you while configuring the firewall interface, you need to say which security level it is. You need to give the IP address, okay, in the under a firewall. Then you need to give security level, and you need to say which zone it is. So what will happen? The firewall, here you have two zones, inside and outside. So when you place this one, so what will happen? No one from internet can come. From, see, lower security to higher security, firewall will block by default behavior. From, because these people are in the security level 0, they cannot come. But these people from higher security level, they are into 100, right? They can go to the internet. That's how the firewall security is. They can go to the internet. But when they out, that time firewall take a inspection, stateful inspection, ST. Like who is going there? Let's say this guy X is talking to Y on particular port. So that track will happen. So when the return traffic come, the firewall will see that, okay, this guy was going out and he's coming back with the reply. That's fine. So this is how the Cisco ASA works, right? So Cisco ASA, or not so only Cisco ASA, every firewall will have a zones. So firewall will have a zone. So zone is nothing but the boundary. So similarly, you can create another zone. Okay, let's say you have one network here, one public server. Okay, and you want that public server, it is like medium security. Why? Because you are expecting the from internet people can access your DMZ server. So you need to give another zone. You need to make another zone that is called DMZ, demilitarized zone. And here give the security level less security, like 50. So still, can you see the 0 to 100 they cannot come, 0 to 50. Okay, but 50 to 0 if you want, then you can control via the policy. If, okay, one question here, you are saying that 0 to 50 no one can come, then how the people can access the your web server from internet? Then that is why the policy will come into picture. So by security level, it will put a default behavior. The higher security can go to lower security zone, but lower security zone to higher security zone never come back, never come. So to allow them, you need to provide the policy, security policy, or we call as a security policy, or allow and deny, right? So this is how this is a base of the firewall required. So you understand, right, where the firewall come into picture. So this is the place on this firewall you configure a VPN, your site-to-site tunnel or your remote access VPN we configure here. Similarly, if you have HA, just make the HA. You can create two firewall, have a two firewalls here. If you have a redundant network, redundant core switches and all, so in the redundancy, that time your failover and all these things can happen. And everything is here. See, firewall does two things. Remember, firewall does two things. First is stateful inspection. This is the primary job. Who is doing what? And it maintain a policy, and everything is based on the policy, whom to allow, whom to deny. And zones are nothing but the security boundaries, from where they can go, they can come, who can talk and who can. And remember, higher to like the higher security level, 100 can go to 0 and 50. Okay, higher security level, but 0 and 50 they cannot come to 100. That's the security level. That's it. So that's enough for today. So tomorrow I will show you the Cisco ASA lab on the packet test. Okay, how it is, and we'll see that. See, we will touch the overview of the ASA. Again, we'll see some baseline instead directly going to the follow. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow, same time, 12:30. So be on time. So we'll have the full 1 hour. Okay, thank you.
अजीम भाई,
हाँ, बोलिए।
ये 1 बजे का टाइम सही था ना भाई? बस 12:30 को मसला हो रहा। खैर आपकी मर्जी, बोल रहा हूँ मैं बात। हाँ
नमाज छूट जा रही है यार।
हाँ, वो भी है।
हाँ, वो
ठीक है,
मसला हो रहा
इंशाल्लाह।
है। ओके, जस्ट एक आधा घंटा पहले उठ जाओ खाना खा।
ओके ओके, ठीक है।
या थैंक यू, विल स्टॉप हियर, विल कंटिन्यू।
ओके ओके।